Suppose I made a study on the number of hours students study each week, and then I found that on this number of hours that some students study from suppose 1 to 3 hours, and the frequency or the number of students who study like that in my class, I found out it is, for example, 5 students. And then the number of students who study from 4 to 6 hours, I found them to be 7 students. And then the number of students who study 7 to 9 hours per week, I found them to be, for example, 8. And then a number of students who study between 10 to 12 hours, then they are 6. And then the students who study 13 to 15 hours, they are 3. So this is a frequency distribution table. This time it's grouped frequency distribution table because the number of hours is not just one value. It's actually 3 values: 1 and 2 and 3. From 1 to 3, that means 1 and 2 and 3. So anyone who study 1 or 2 or 3 hours are counted here, and anyone who study 4 or 5 or 6 hours is counted here, and so on. So here the question here that I'm dividing the number of hours into classes. Here's the first class, second class, third class, and fourth class. So the question, what is the class width? What is the width of this class? Well, this class, some people will say the width is 2 hours, which is not correct, because if you look at this class here, it has a lower limit and an upper limit. So we can write that. We have here, this is called the lower limit, okay, and this is called the upper limit. And of course this is my first class. This is my first class. This is class first one, and of course this is the second class, because this I'm just dividing the students into classes. This is a second class. This is like a classification, not the class of students where we sit together and study. No, I mean a class means a part of my data. So this category of data where the students study for 1 to 3 hours, this is another category of data or class or group of data that study from 4 to 6 hours, and I have 7 students like this. So this is the lower class limit 1, and this is the upper class limit. The class width, actually, if you want to know the class width, is basically the distance between 2 successive lower limits. So the distance between this lower limit here and this second or next or successive lower limit here, this distance is the class width. So in this case it's equal to 4 minus 1, which is equal to 3. The same thing you can say, okay, it is the distance between this lower limit here and the next lower limit, which is also 7 minus 4, which also is 3, or 10 minus 7, which is also 3, 13 minus 10, also 3. Or you can think of it as the distance between successive upper limits also, because the distance between upper limits 6 minus 3, or 9 minus 6, or 12 minus 9, this distance between classes in general, the distance between anything here and the same thing in the next class. So it's really distance between classes. This is the class width. This is the actual class width. It is the distance between classes. The distance between classes, you can measure it in the lower limit or in the upper limit.